Thank you and good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. NBA. There's the final two clincher in the NBA sports. There's the final two clinchers and both teams have come back. Let's start with the NBA Game 7 tonight. Perhaps the biggest game in sports. Game 7, Boston Celtics who have came back from a 3-0 deficit to tie it at 3. No team has ever came back from a 3-0 deficit and to win the series in 7, 150-0 are the teams in the NBA. A few teams have tied it, but they've all been on the road and have never completely came back. But tonight, the first time for Game 7 and a 3-0 deficit is at home. That means the Celtics have everything in their favor except pulling 4 in a row. But I'm going to pick the Celtics. Players to watch: Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler. The Heat were nearly eliminated if it wasn't a layup by Derek White, who you may never hear from if you're a casual fan again. Game 7 is tonight. Heat last Game 7. He won last Game 7 of last year. We're going to do the series Game 7 all over again this year. Tip is at 7:30 and 8:30 Eastern. We'll see if the Celtics win this Game 7. In the NHL, the other team trying to force a Game 7 would be the Stars. To try to win 3 in a row. Game 6 is tonight. The Stars are trying to become just the 4th team to come back down 3-0 in hockey. 7 will be Wednesday if necessary. Game 6 is tonight. The Stars won 4-2. Game 6 is in Dallas. 7 Central and 8 Eastern for face-off. For the NBA, 7:30 and 8:30 Eastern tip-off on TNT. Baseball Royals win 3-2, being down 2-0. In the bottom of the 7th, the Royals scored 1. And in the bottom of the 8th, they scored 1. Royals win 3-2 after Michael Kopech hits a single to win the game. And the Royals scored 1 in the 9th to win it. The Royals lost 2 out of 3 to the Tigers. Royals have the Labor Day special against the Cardinals. A quick 2-game set. The Royals are 16-38. The Cardinals are 24-31. The Royals will have the opener today. Josh Samant will go for the Royals. He'll be the starter on an opener. Probably means he only goes through the lineup about one time. Royals haven't tried that much this year. Coming over from the Rays, Matt Quantrill has decided to do the strategy of the opener. Cubs will play the Rays. Marcus Stroman will go for the Cubs, and Taja Bradley will go for the Rays. Game time is at 1:20. The Cubs got swept over the weekend. The White Sox lost 2 out of 3 over the Tigers, and yesterday losing 6-5. Today, Michael Kopech will go for the Sox, and Griffin Canning will go for the Angels. Game time is at 7:10. Now here's Jason and Sam. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report.
Nah, we're good on baseball. It's too early.
It is not too early. The Royals suck. The Royals are terrible.
But we kind of knew that.
I didn't know they were going to be this bad. I'm going to say that. They are 2-14 at home.
Whoa. Well,
and they're 7 and I think they lost today. They did probably, but they're 7-23.
I didn't think they would be out of it this early, but
they're 8-7 right now, and there's 8-23.
Eek.
And if they won today, they would win their first series. However, as we just said, they are losing. So they're not going, I don't know, maybe they're going to come back, but they will win their first series of the year and it's May 5th. So,
yeah.
and I'm not going to throw you some stats about how bad they are, but I could if I wanted to.
Oh, I'm sure you could. I mean, I didn't project them to be out of everything until maybe June, but it appears that they're gonna.
Let's go to the NBA. So the teams that we got left are the Heat, Knicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Lakers, Warriors.
Yep.
The Nuggets playing the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody else?
And you got the 76ers and the Celtics.
Right. So who's going to win? Who's your team to win it all?
At this point, with these being like the craziest cycle of sports playoffs I've ever seen, between March Madness, the NHL playoffs, and the NBA playoffs, I like the unpredictability. I ultimately think that Boston will win. It's because they seem to have their players seem to have a hunger, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to be wrong anyway, but I would say Boston just because of that bad taste they had in their mouth from last year, being up 2-1 on Golden State. So that's my pick to win it all. At first, I had Milwaukee, but Milwaukee obviously isn't even in it anymore.
Do the Lakers have a chance?
The Lakers have a chance because their team they made a lot of deals to improve their team, so they definitely have a chance. I just don't see them getting out of the West.
The Knicks, they're playing pretty well, huh?
Yeah.
I predicted them to beat the Cavs.
Yeah, I thought they would beat the Cavs. I didn't think they would beat them in 5 games like they did, but I did think they would beat them.
Anything else you want to go to the NBA for? Joel Embiid, do you don't think the Sixers are going to win?
That's my struggle because he came back. Another problem a lot of teams are having is star players are missing playoff games, which they're missing a lot of star players are missing playoff games. So I
rehash it one more time here on Sunday Sound Off. Does recently cut wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins make sense to come to Kansas City? Curtis Siebold, we'll start with you.
Yeah, if they can get a good deal, I absolutely think they should, and I think they should be working on that. I don't buy the idea that because you have Patrick Mahomes that you sink the money into the defense. You sink the money into what the value is, and the value right now is DeAndre Hopkins. There's a lot of guys in that wide receiver room, but I don't see anybody in that room who is a number one. Hopkins is a true number one, and if you're worried about the age, we looked this past week. Since 1990, 9 Hall of Fame wide receivers have played their 31-year-old season, and their average numbers are 78 catches, 1,100 yards, and 9 touchdowns. And if you spread it out to 31 to 33, the numbers are the same. The value is there, and he's going to have good numbers somewhere. You might as well have them for the Chiefs.
Good points there, but it seems like there's no room in the end. Where does the room come from in the wide receiver room if you're bringing in DeAndre Hopkins, Pete Sweeney?
Well, you'd have to say goodbye to Richie James to start, and then you're signing someone just to get rid of them. I think the Chiefs should be interested in DeAndre Hopkins. This could be a matter of can they get him under the salary cap. They're one of the lower teams when it comes to salary cap available. That's going to have to be a restructure and extension for Chris Jones where he makes some of that money. Maybe it's, God forbid we say, a new contract for Patrick Mahomes. I know we're going to talk about that in a second, where you're able to make some space. Odell Beckham Jr. signed with the Ravens for $15 million. The Chiefs probably have to have something like that when it comes to incentives just to get him in the building. I tend to think he's a Jet or a Cowboy when it's all said and done.